On May 3, 1975, a farmer found a body floating face down in the Nation River, about 60 kilometers east of Ottawa, Canada. The body was found floating 100 yards from the Highway 417 bridge crossing in Castleman, a small Ontario village, an hour and a half from Montreal, Canada. The victim was determined to be a Caucasian woman aged somewhere between 25 and 50. Police believe that she was thrown from the eastbound lanes of Highway 417 over the bridge and into the water. She was naked except for a blue bodysuit that had been pulled up over her shoulders. A television cable was wrapped around her neck, her wrists had been bound in front of her using a man's necktie, and her ankles were bound with 2 other neckties, and a tea towel was wrapped around her face. Her cause of death was determined to be strangulation. Her fingerprints were available as well as DNA. Still, the lady in the Nation River could not be identified, so police labeled her a Jane Doe, but to the public, she became known as the Nation River Lady. The violent nature of the crime and the way she was found captivated the country. Her remains were buried in 1987, and over the years, over 300 missing persons were excluded from the case. And the mystery of who the Nation River Lady was persisted for nearly 50 years and would become one of Canada's oldest cold cases. Until 2019, when the OPP exhumed the remains of the Nation River Lady and obtained a new DNA profile. That sample was then used to conduct DNA evaluations using genetic genealogy. In 2020, the DNA profile of the victim was matched to 2 other people listed in a family DNA tree. In July of 2023, the identity of the Nation River Lady was finally revealed to the public. She was identified as Jewel Lala Langford, a resident of Tennessee in the United States who was 48 years old at the time of her death. So Jewel, or Lala, had traveled to Montreal from her home in Tennessee shortly before her family reported her missing to the Montreal police. Her family had no idea where she was or what had happened to her for decades. Once her identity was revealed, the OPP got on the tail of her killer, who turned out to be someone who Jewel knew very well. Rodney Nichols, who was 81 back in 2022, has been charged with Jewel's murder. As it turns out, he had been questioned way back in 1975 for Jewel's disappearance, because when she went missing, they had been living together in Montreal. Nichols lied to the Montreal police, though, and said that he had just spoken to Jewel and that she was in Vancouver. Little did police at this time know that Jewel had indeed been found, that she was the Jane Doe from the Nation River, or the Nation River Lady. But because she was not identified, Nichols got away with her murder for nearly 50 years. Fast forward all these decades, and when Jewel was identified as the Nation River Lady, all police had to do was go back and look at their reports from 1975, and ta-da, they got a prime suspect. The then 81-year-old Rodney Nichols admitted to the murder and was arrested and charged with Jewel's murder.